Yeah. Okay. So here we talk again about the conversation between a Buddhist king, a Greek king, with a holy monks, Nagasena, and in that conversation can learn. Um, yeah. And so last time we talked about uh, Nagasena explained why the lay people are not supposed to listen to the monk precepts. Can you please?
Intentional lying. It has been said by the Blessed One, intentional lying is an offense involving expulsion. Yet he also said intentional lying is a light offense that must be confessed to another bhikkhu. How can both of these be right? If a man were to strike another with his hand, what punishment would you give him? If the victim refused to overlook the matter, we would find the assailant. But if a man were to strike you, what punishment would you give him? Would you cut off his hands and his feet, scalp him, plunder all his wealth, and uproot his family up to the 7th generation?
Remember 2,000 years ago. No, not 200 years. So we have this story. The context was in the first century BC. Yeah, this conversation, and so you understand now. So of course nowadays this is update for this type of practice. It's it's good, but in the past, yeah, it's happened everywhere. Yeah, what was about?
So I guess intentional lying, you could I guess I don't know what it means by involving expulsion. You're like
kick out.
Yeah.
If have big line.
Yeah.
Later on we explain that.
Oh, with that. But also it could be light if I guess if you maybe were
confessed with other.
Yeah.
So he gave the analogy, right?
So the first one wouldn't be that big of a deal because you wouldn't find the robber. Then the second one, it would be worse.
Hit
but
the
then
king.
If he hits the king, then he's off with his hands and the scalp and all his wealth and
7 generations.
That's
why it's so serious in the past. Yeah. Here is a plan.
Just so, O king, the offense is light or heavy according to the subject matter. Intentional lying about the attainment of superhuman states, such as the absorption's supernormal power or the paths of spiritual attainment, is an offense involving expulsion.
You understand that?
However, intentional lying about other matters is only an offense involving confession.
Yeah. You know why it's smarter when someone make up, oh, I become Buddha, I attain enlightenment and so forth. What's smarter? Why so serious here?
Because you can lead others the wrong way.
Yeah, you cheat them, right? Some self-claim guru, right? They say, oh, I have attained this, that, and that. But if they could not, that's mean big lie. Yeah, and Anh, how you been, Anh? Yeah, you driving, Anh?
Dạ thầy, dạ chào thầy, con với nghe thầy ha. Dạ.
Yeah.
Hello everyone.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
good.
I can hear well.
So it's a bit different, right? So when someone's like talk, tell like some matter, some small matter, it's not much important. Like let's say today when someone just gave me $1,000, for example, right? It's no big deal. But if they tell, oh, okay, I attend a supernatural power, I attend enlightenment and so forth, and I can read your mind and so forth. But that's not true. That's serious, because spiritually, mentally, people would not understand what you think about. You have to be honest. That's what it's about. It's all depends. So here we make the circle. We may take turn to read And when we read, so we can discuss together. That's our format here. Okay, please.
Investigations of the Bodhisattva. It was said by the Blessed One in the Discourse on Natural Law, long ago have the Bodhisattva's parents, disciples, disciples, etc., been predestined for the Bodhisattva. Yet it was also said, while it's still in the Tasita heaven, the Bodhisattva makes 8 investigations, whether the right moment has come for him to be reborn, the continent, the country, the family, the mother, the time of the womb, the month of the birth, and time of the going forth. If the parents were already predestined, why was it necessary for him to consider these things?
Yeah, you understand the question?
I understand. I think it's a good question.
Mhm.
I don't know the answer. I guess we'll find out.
You know the background of this? You understand this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, why is that? Why the Bodhisattva? That means before he came down to earth.
Yeah.
According to tradition, it said that he need to absorb who his parents will be.
I don't know the whole of that story, but I know that a lot of bodhisattvas are in the Tasita heaven before they come to earth and are born in the human world.
Yeah, so let me pull out this one here.
I think that's also where the mother went, right? After
Yeah, 7 days after she gave birth to him. So remember, in Buddhism, I don't know whether you understand. In Buddhism, we talk about the what they call cycle of rebirth, right? Like this chart. So after we done with this life, we may be born as human again, or we may be born in some sort of heaven. There's many levels of heaven, or some type of holy rewards, happiness. Ashuga is fighting God. So that's what Buddhists view. And the Tushita is the heaven that's in the desire. What here Tushita here, the content that contain Deva, that's meant Tushita. So their lifespan is 576 million years. For us, our lifespan around, let's say 90, 100. But for them, 576 million years. So that's why it's just those are the levels, a lifespan of the celestial beings. So you understand that why he had to choose his parents, have to observe before he chose his parents, his country, and so forth. Why is that?
I mean, I think we all kind of choose our parents, but just some of us are conscious. I guess if you're, more advanced, you can wake up before you and realize who you're choosing.
But for us, common people, we have no choice. Is that right?
Well, I mean, supposedly we did,
but we don't.
I mean, now we don't. Now we don't know. But supposedly there was a point where we did choose our parents.
It's, in Buddhist view, it's not easy until we have some kind of achievement, spiritual achievement, so we can have the skill to choose our own destination, to choose our own parents, future parents.
Or you resonate with the parents, like I guess.
We talk about that.
You resonate.
Yeah, we resonate. We talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not easy. Not easy for us to choose.
But to be skillfully choose them.
Yeah, that's why. But for the great Bodhisattva, before they become Buddha, so they have that power. They have that wisdom to absorb the country, the parents, the right movement, the family, the time in the wombs, the month of the. So that means they decide for themselves already because of their wisdom, and plus because of that type of married too. Of course, for common people, it will be applicable because we didn't know where we headed to. So that's what's about. So he said, if this kid asked, if his parents were already predestinated, all right, why was it's necessary for him to concept this thing?
Both these statements, O King, are
Oh, you have
correct.
some problem?
That's okay.
Oh,
I taught all day, it doesn't matter. With respect to 8 things, the future should be investigated before it comes to pass. A merchant should inspect goods before he buys them. An elephant should try a path with his trunk before he treads it. A carter should survey a ford before he crosses it. A pilot should plumb a shore he has not seen before. A physician should assess the remaining lifespan of a patient before treating him. A traveler should inspect a bridge before he walks on it. A bhikkhu should know the time before he starts his meal. And a bodhisattva should investigate the family before he was born.
Mm.
Be careful and check everything.
Yeah. Here he said pilot. It does mean that airplane pilot, right? It is the ship, right? The ship, and in the past, right, the fishes should accept the remain lifespan in the past. Remember, so but that's why he need to investigate. He need to observe before he came down to earth. That's his wisdom there. And I think we discussed before. There's some Tuku, right?
Yeah.
Remember that some Tuku before they passed away, they could foresee where they heading to. I mean that the enlightened, awakened master or teacher spiritually, so they have the wisdom to know after they pass away that they know where they heading to. That's why they usually give the instruction for the student to look for them, so that the student could bring them back to have the training. So 1998, I went to India. I lived in the Tibetan communities. They have a school to train those Tuku. They still young, from I think from 5, 6 years old up to 12, up to 18. So they train those Tuku. They brought them back and trained them so that they would be the teacher in the future. They would recognize them as the former teacher.
There's 2 Karmapas right now, though.
Yeah.
But now that I guess they agree.
And Dalai Lama soon,
Yeah.
after he died, right? He made a minute before he died, he would indicate one way or another where he heading to. And I remember that a few years ago, he said that when he get to 90, he would tell. Now he's 80, I think 87, 86, 87, few more years.
I know he said that his next life he will be a woman, probably.
No, it's a possibility. And he said he would not be born in China at all. in free country. And you see, after he died, probably we have now the fake Dalai Lama in China, because they want to control the people there, because people trust him, trust Dalai Lama more than them. So that's why they do the fake come apart, right? Yeah. Right. So again, only those have wisdom could foresee their future, but for us, not easy until we have some kind of wisdom awakening. We can recognize us. Yeah. Okay. So on suicide. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah. Would you mind to read? Yeah.
Suicide. It has been said by the Blessed One, a monk should not try to commit suicide, throw himself down from a.
Yeah. It's a clip, right?
Whoever does so should be dealt with according to the rule. yet, on the other hand, you say that on whatever topic he was addressing the monks, he always, and with various smiles, exhorted them to bring about the destruction of birth, old age, disease, and death, and whosoever overcame them, he honored with high praise.
You understand a little bit? You understand that one? So basically, he prohibited the monk to commit suicide, but on the other hand, he encouraged them to stop the birth cycle. It's not in conflict, right? It's the same way.
Well, suicide would be killing your body, but
Body.
leaving the cycle is
Spiritually. Mhm.
just just not returning to a body.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's just one of the the heavy karma if we harm ourselves, and even I think we discussed before, right? If we harm ourselves, if we kill ourselves, at that state, it's not easy for us to be human again. Yeah, and because we die, we pass away with unhappy mind. So we may be born in the unhappy place. That's what the meaning there. So in one particular sutra, the Buddha said that if we pass away, like we go to sleep, so the indication that it's easy for us to go back at human realm. That our state of mind would indicate where we head into in the future. But that's why he prohibited the monk or even any Buddhist to commit suicide. We talk about that, right? We talk about what we call acid killing, right? And again, it's not easy. We don't need to involve in that. You know what's meant acid killing? What do you call that term?
Assisted suicide.
Yeah. What do you call that term?
Euthanasia?
Yeah. So that for us we can't. Okay. And but on the other hand, right? If someone could stop the cycle of rebirth spiritually and mentally, to be appraised. So that's the whole meaning. Yeah. You follow? Right. So that's why the Buddha always encouraged one to let go of attachment so that they can get out the birth cycle. Here, one more time. In Buddhist view, so as we still create the karma, we still revolve in this type of samsara, cycle of birth, until we cut up or delay, let go of all attachment. We here in the enlightened one, in the enlightened realm here. That's what Buddhist view about. You follow? Is this friend for you, or you have read something about this before? No, it's new. Totally new, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Anand, are you parking the car, or are you still driving? Anand, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I can
you-
listen to everything. I can hear the conversation.
You
I
driving?
cannot read it though.
Can
No,
you read?
I'm parking right now. I
read,
cannot read, but it's too small. It's too small for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it is because an arahant is a great benefit to beings that you lay down that prohibition. One who has reached the goal is like a boat to carry people over the floods of sensuality, desire for rebirth, personality belief, and ignorance. Like a mighty rain cloud, he fills their minds with satisfaction and is a guide to those who are lost. Out of compassion for living beings, the Blessed One said, a monk is not to commit suicide. And what is the reason the Blessed One urged us to put an end to birth, old age, and death? Because of the limitless nature of the suffering of the ground of rebirths, the Blessed One. Out of compassion for beings, urge them in many ways, with various similes to free themselves from the round of.
It's clear now, right? It's explained clearly. You understand now, right? So, yeah, he prohibited the monk or anyone else, I mean, the Buddhist, to commit suicide, but he encouraged his followers to work hard, right, to end the cycle of the birth. And this is a common theme in Asian religion that after we die, we come back in one way or another. Let's just imagine that one day, or every day you do the same thing. Sometimes it's boring, right? Yeah. So, and of course, everyone is different. If it's not boring, you can do it again. But for others, like especially like Buddha, if you go again and again, you create the karma, and you have all kind of suffering, kind of problem there. If you want to get out, that's the path the Buddha provide. Do meditation, let go of the attachment, and so forth. Okay, would you like to?
It has been said by the blessed, these 11 advantages when you practice that one. Practice makes a habit of loving kindness towards all beings. He sleeps in peace, he wakes in peace, dreams from where to community, God, the gods protect him. Neither fire nor poison or weapons can harm him. His mind is quickly concentrated. His continuous serene. He dies unconfessed, and if he attains no higher, he is reborn in the
Brahma.
realm. Why then was the young Sama, who was full of loving kindness, hit by a fat poison arrow fired by King
Hiliyaka.
Ilya.
So you understand the content of this? So he say 11 benefit of developing kindness, right? Yeah. So you heard of this before, right?
The advantages of metta. Yeah, I understand a lot.
You heard about this, right? This is some
Advantages.
kind of
Yeah, the
benefit.
advantages, no, I know about the loving kindness practices.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is.
and some of the sutras, in some of the loving kindness.
Yeah, in Metta
sutras,
Sutra.
Yeah.
it goes over
Yeah.
what it cultivates.
He sleep in peace. It's common sense, right? When we have loving kindness, compassion toward other people, nothing for us to worry about, right? So we can sleep peacefully. He walk in peace. What do you think?
That's true. I don't know the story it's talking about where the young Sama had the loving kindness but was still killed with a poison arrow. But I mean, that makes sense because I mean, of course, if you have loving kindness, usually you live in peace, but bad things can still happen.
The new young monk we were talking about, metta, and he said, okay, so if you have bad karma and you have bad attitude, it's like the ox with the big heavy cart. You're dragging the big heavy cart. But if you cultivate loving kindness, your karma is more like weight of your shadow.
So what do you think? Sleep in peace, work in peace, dream no evil dreams. What do you think? Is that possible? If you have the kind of peace of mind, that kind of compassion of mind, is it possible?
It's possible, it's hard.
What is that?
It's hard. So.
Especially
metta practice made a huge difference.
Metta means the same thing as loving kindness. It's just a shorter word. like NEPTA.
Especially with our children, our students, right? So how could it be effective if we instill a couple of kindness and compassion towards our students? How it could be effective? What do you think?
They would respond. You're on an intuitive level. As far as the teachers, when you respond with loving kindness, the stress, all the responsibility seems to be kind of lessened.
Mhm. So two attitudes, right? When we read this paper, right? Is with my own experience. He teacher and professor too, and you are teacher. So these two attitude. One is that yeah, we read the paper with love and kindness, uh, care for them, care for the race. Another attitude is that we don't care much. We just follow the rules. What do you think? With this kind of two attitude, even the same paper, the same method, which one we can be more effective in teaching?
Definitely, if you're applying meta, you're going to seek the best for the student. The prejudice you have is going to be dissipated. It's not going to be there. You're focused on the future and the success.
You have experience, right? When you care for them, they recognize even you may give them bad grade, right?
Right. Literally, we just had this conversation. One of the schools that I'm working with is the school that I used to teach at. And so they had a teacher that had to resign. And so they had nobody who could teach the class. So they asked me to come in and teach the class. So I've been teaching the class. And the principal was like, these kids were like not doing anything and stuff like that. And another teacher in there was like, these kids have known him their whole life, talking about me. It's like they trust him because they know that he has their best interest, which made my heart real big because I was like, oh. But it's true. Like if kids know that you are looking out for them, like you can be kind of like tough love sometimes and be like, yeah, you didn't do so well on this, but let's figure it out. Like let's go back and so yeah, definitely.
But
makes
It's
difference.
amazing to even hear like the real kindergarten, first grade, second grade evaluate their teachers. Like it's interesting to hear their descriptions of like how they think certain teachers are, and it's really amazing, like the really keen sense of with even at such a young age what they're picking up, just from like how the teacher conducts class to,
remember last time we have the mayor came here. I think we talked about what they call compassionate program. He worked together. His office worked together with the Jefferson Public School for the middle school. I mean, at the elementary school level. So is it? You know about this?
I don't know.
Huh?
I
He
don't
came
know
here.
if our
He came here.
programs might be funded by that, because we like do all like professional development with a lot of the after school and in school programs. So it may be partially funded with that.
Oh, you don't know about that?
I don't know exactly. Like I know there's when it comes to putting these programs in schools and stuff like that, money's.
Yeah, this is the timeline here. This since 2014, right up to Dalai Lama came 2013. That's year 1, year 2, year 3, and this is more done. This is up here. Yeah, that's involved with I don't know how many students here, how many schools. Oh, 21 school evaluation, national control. Yeah. So this involves a lot of students, thousands of students in Jefferson County. So that's pretty good if we can train the student at young age to be compassionate.
We're
Mm.
actually having to measure it this year with our students, with our program, like on emotional progress, empathy.
You could feel that when you incorporate compassion, especially you teach kindergarten, right? You could feel that with the bit difference between showing their love and care, right? When you teach them or just follow the rules, it's quite different, right?
Well, they follow the rules because I give them love and compassion. Like, I don't have any behavior issues because the way I've set up my classroom, and like, they know that I love them and care about them, and so they're more willing to try hard and do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, we work with the students. We work with all children too. Of course, sometimes yes, children may take advantage of that, right? But anyway, so it's so important. Yeah, yeah. The same thing. Yeah, Anand, what do you think, Anand? In cooperation, especially in the competition phenomenon, I mean, that in situation, is it easy to develop this type of loving kindness and compassion to employees or co-worker and so forth? What do you think, Anand?
I think that historically, most of Fortune 500 companies usually tend to be a little more cutthroat, competitions, winners reward first, first in class, so on and so forth. But recently, as the society changing, I noticed that even in my company, they have programs that are focused on valuing diversity, valuing your differences, value your background, your social, economic, so on and so forth. So it brings more diversity in the workforce where people are expected to respect and respect each other and respect their values and differences. And that's bring to the point of yes, even though we have differences, we need to show some decorum. We need to show some respect. We need to show some compassion of others and seek to understand others before we start to yell and scream or expect X, Y, Z. So I think that there's some of that transitions probably last 3 or 4 years. There's a big push on that topics. And I think it's sometimes people like myself, maybe I see it more like a program, but I think there's a concerted effort that I think the values of that types of programs will help the corporation, will help recruit patients and recruit employees to come to work at the Fortune 500. And those companies have those type of programs tend to attract more and retain more people who are not burned out or frustrated. So I think it's a good program that Fortune 500 companies are doing that more and more now. I think. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you say you are investor in real estate, right? So is it easy to apply this kind of compassion toward your profession, especially in this the high competition, right? Situation. Is it easy or no? What do you think?
To me, yeah, it's anytime when you show compassion, you have compassion. It's not only, I think it's twofold. Like it's being able to give to another person, but to me, like that gives to me as well. That makes me that makes me feel a certain type of way that I'm able to give that compassion to someone else. It's I think, and when you say for dealing in business, Yeah, it's just best practice to be kind and show and have that compassion to other people. Anything else would be on civilized and but people have you will come across people that have hidden agendas and they want to do certain things, and I'm going to treat people with respect and with compassion, and give them. Yeah, definitely kill with kindness, and I would never just have pre notions or trying to put a person in a box, and it's just a way of being, just it's the best way to be in my eyes.
Yeah, we see a lot of side, right? We buy house, right? What do you think? So you see those people, they want to buy low and sell high. In that kind of situation, how could we be compassionate toward let's say the buyer and even the seller then? How how can we balance out with that type of profession?
Well, I think so. Those buyers like buy out people that are desperate to not go through like crazy. They're getting ready to go through proceedings. I think that's my guess. What the majority of those clients are people that are getting ready to get foreclosed on or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, thing is with you don't want to be fair. Like there's no reason that people out there that will get super greedy, but in my lifetime, like being greedy is not going to be good. You're not going to. Nothing's good going to come out of you being greedy. You have enough to make a profit. They have enough to do what they need to do. So there's no reason to be greedy, because when you greedy, it doesn't lead to good things.
That's what's mean win-win situation, right?
Right.
We create this condition for everyone be happy after the deal, right? So we can come back, right? They can come back to work with us for long-term relationship, right? Instead of cut the deal, you take all the benefit and other people would not get much. So they won't. They would not like to work with you anymore. So in all kind of situation, that's why no matter what, in practical sense, we create a win-win situation for everyone. Would be more fruitful, more beneficial.
And then just compounds on new relationships more. Like if you're fair and you're compassionate, the person's going to realize that, and they're going to say, okay, well, this is a good guy, and it just compounds once you embrace that type of.
And people may refer each other to you, right? They may refer to friends, your employees, their friends, their employees, their relatives, so forth. So you get more customers. Right? If we are fair with other people, if we create a kind of win-win situation, and even in our student too, right? So do they give you some type of evaluation after the year? After after a year, I'm doing that toward the end of semester, do they evaluate your teaching skill and so forth?
Yeah, I voluntarily asked them to fill out a questionnaire to see if they would retake the class again, what would they change or say. And that way I'm constantly reinventing myself.
Do you find that their answers seem to have like a fairly consistent theme?
Oh, and I think it does go back to compassion. You can know everything you know about the content, but if they don't feel that we're there for them, they're not going to engage fully.
So your student rate you too? Rate my professor? You know that?
Yeah, like student
You
evaluations
there?
at the end. I haven't had any because I haven't taught any classes at Purdue yet. So yeah, I haven't had.
Want to see mine? It's online. Right here. Right here. I will show you.
So just to be clear, everybody here's.
No.
This side of the table.
And he's a college professor.
Yeah.
And I teach a, after school, drama program that's specific to like,
Mm.
encouraging.
Here, that's mine.
Oh.
That's my.
That's-
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see that? Even.
Nice job. Nice.
Even some of them.
Awesome.
Yeah. Even some of them get me
Oh.
one. It's normal. Yeah. We cannot certify everyone. Yeah, you can read something of this, and of course, it's 2.5 17. Give me 5. Yeah, my name, this is my legal name. Yeah. That, huh? It's called rate my professor. It's almost every professor. I'm teaching at University of Houston, so almost every professor has this type of rating, and we can control them. That whichever thing they want to say up there. Yeah. Yeah, you can read their rating.
Yeah.
I just like how, like, it seems like they would say needs a lot of improvement before they put awful. I don't know, awful is
Yeah.
funny.
So you don't teach any particular class, so they don't grade you?
No, we just the students in our program. We do sort of like program evaluations of the students, but it's not specifically about like me. It's just about because I'm in charge of the program, like how it's run and something.
You remember last time we talked about a professor from Princeton, from New York State University. He was laid up because more than 80 students wrote complaint about him. Out of the 300 students. Yeah, so now his student voice is so powerful. And when we teach and we show them how much we care, they give that feedback. We will not abuse our power when we grade the paper or presentation and so forth.
I don't know.
Yeah, right. It doesn't matter how.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works at my new job yet, but when I worked at UK hospital, the patients could also rate you in a similar way. Even though the person didn't really help me or made me feel bad if they felt that way. But I got some good ones. But it wasn't, we didn't get them as often as that. We were maybe, I probably only got like 3 or 4 a year, but they were positive.
Yeah. And then, how about your boss? Your manager grade you, right? Give you some kind of evaluation at the end of year 2, right?
Yeah, yes. That would be every year, and usually on average, probably 4 times a year.
Oh.
And I used to work in another department where I travel almost every 2 weeks, and every 2 weeks is a project. So I have 7 to 8 people that report to me, and I evaluate them, and it's a 360 feedback. So they evaluate me, and they on the trip after the trip they evaluate me. So it's like almost like like teaching, like you got like you and the other people are talking about teaching a class where 20 other people evaluate each other. So I do have that experience, and in the corporate America, when a company recruit like the top talent coming to their organization, and most of them are like the top tiers. So when they come to our company, they expect to be like always like A+ when they're in school. So when they go, so all the A+ go to the same place. They're all very, very competitive, and so it's hard to tell them, hey, you need to work on XYZ, because they never have to to be lower than the A minus, right? So now we come to a real world working. Someone have to tell them, oh, you need to work on this topic. So it's a very challenging for a leader to kind of offer some advice or recommendations or ways to talk to a young freshman coming out of college and tell them that, hey, you are not good at something. So that's a very careful conversation that I learned that compassionate is a good way, but it's also facts friendly. But compassion, like talking with empathy is a good thing. That will carry a long way, and they respect you as well. Thank you.
That's what common, what we threw out there, we bounce back words. Whether it's compassion, hatred, and so forth, we bounce back words. So in high school level, it's more effective, or that the student evaluation is more powerful, or not much. It depends upon the principal, or depends upon the school board, or what to decide to keep the teacher.
Private school, it's more up to the
not much for the student voice. So in public school, especially with your level, right, the student too young to evaluate.
Yeah,
I don't understand, right?
I think my teacher is not
Your
Just to give
teacher
us an
also
opportunity.
hates that they're not.
But all the teacher, or all the teacher give you like an evaluation, right?
No, my principal.
Your
evaluates
principal,
me.
I see. How you handle how you run the class.
She watches my lessons and sees if I'm following the script and following the book and the plans and how I interact with the students.
Yeah, so that's why it's so important. If we know that we are interdependent, we are so connected. If we throw out something constantly, it come back to us. In any kind of circumstances, any situation, in any profession, right? Like you say, right? As an investor, if we trade the winning situation, they come back to us.
Yeah, I'm just 4 or 5 months ago, had a contract that I was dealing with these electricians, and I saw him in poles. And he was kind of in the back. I didn't even really know what was going on. I just actually really need some help. And he had this job and he material. I didn't really think anything of it. It was like $300, but I kind of saw it on his face that he was kind of like in panic mode. I was like, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and just take care of it. To this day, he really tries to go out of his way to help me, praise me all the time, and it really, that just small gesture really just really kind of blew his mind with and because he works with my cousin always tells me, always praising me and always telling me that telling everybody I'm a good guy, and he just it really just fits. It really just kind of came to my head when it really it's tenfold.
That is the universal value, regardless of who we are, right? Regardless of the religion we follow, that universal value, love. Because of love, because of care, because of compassion. That's why we're here. Without love, without care, we will not be here, right? We start with our parents, our relatives, our communities, and our nation, and other people too. So that's why it's so critical. That's why here we say that you dream no evil dream, because we don't want to harm others. So it's why we have that type of evil dream then, unless the children they play violent games. Many years ago, there's one parent, one father, he took his son to see me when he was in Poland. He said that somehow his son has all kind of nightmare And yes, I talked to him. I told him, "What's wrong? What happened to you? We play violent games." He said, "Yes." I say, "That's actually that reason." When they play violent games, right, shooting, killing, and so forth, that disturb their mind. That imprint their mind. That's why they have nightmares. Even for us too. Even we are mature people, right? Sometimes we watch so many violent movies. Yeah, we may have nightmare in our dream because those of image, those of scenes affect our mind.
I try to be really conscious about what I put in my brain. So I do watch some news, but I keep it real limited. And so I've been trying to get stricter about like not consuming like junk. But the other day somehow I was compelled to watch some like stalker thing. And I didn't watch, and I was watching it and I was like, no, you don't want to do this. You're calling this into your life. And then so I couldn't let myself even watch more than 15 minutes of it. All right. I was like, all right, I know that. And so sure enough, the next night I get home, there's no lights on in my house or anything like that. And I walk in and the first thing I think of is there could be a murderer in my house. Like I never think that. Like I just don't think that, right? Because I do consume some because
It's fun.
but yeah. I was like, that's why you don't do that.
I know. I'll walk my dog late at night. I'll take him out to go potty at like 9 o'clock when it's dark. I live out in the country, like there's nobody there, and my dog is with me. Someone
Is definitely here.
it's about that. So bad, like even just a little bit.
Yeah, this is so important, especially for the children, right? We let them to play violent games, so they don't just be violent people. Yeah.
Well, you're training your brain what to scan reality for.
Mhm.
So, like, if you watch the movie, well, and it's even worse with video games because you're programming it with your nerve into your
You involve, you engage in that.
yeah, it's even worse. But still, like, even if you see a movie or whatever, then you trained your brain to scan, make that part of your reality.
Especially if you have teen children, right? Sometimes they sneak out to play, right? Right, and then, right? Your boy is good boy, right? But sometimes you give him some kind of reminding, right? And then,
Yes, definitely. At the age of 14 years old, he told me I don't know anything. So sometimes I need to.
Sounds like 14.
So I need to remind him once in a while.
so you have how many? You have the teen children? 3. How old? The oldest one? How old? 22. Okay, so 2 of them grown up. They go to college now. You well? Huh?
The 2 big ones are only the little one.
So they go to U well?
No, the 2 are in Arizona, the 2 older
Oh,
ones.
Arizona. Okay. But you have a little one. So in the school, do they have any? Yeah, definitely they have the restriction to let the student to watch, especially for the high school student, right? To watch this type of, they can say rate, right? The PG, right? PG is so forth.
I mean, my phone, like I can't even get on Instagram. Like,
Oh, really?
yes.
Oh, they have
Like
that.
on the Wi-Fi. If I'm on the work Wi-Fi, I
Oh,
can't get on
you control it.
Instagram. I can't
Control,
get on
right?
anything.
You set up, right? You set up for her.
Now the school district. does.
No, yeah, it's
The school
at
district.
work,
Oh, the
at
school. Oh, automatically they set up. Oh, that's good. Then.
The
like
entire
all-
Indiana has a law that if you offer public Wi-Fi in your school, that you have to use a certain filter.
Oh,
So
that's
like
good
all the
then.
schools filter everything. Sometimes.
But at home you don't control at all. No.
Well, the bullying on social media is so intense.
Especially with the teen students.
Yeah, so I couldn't even imagine like how that would like compound if they were able to do. I mean, I guess that's why they came up with that rule because it became such a severe problem.
And ultimately, it doesn't matter now because all the kids have their own internet, so
Yeah.
they can look up whatever they want,
Yeah.
whatever they want. So it's still a problem.
Yeah.
In Vietnam, before 1975, or even now, they still start the program again. What they call the civilized course. So they teach the student how to be civilized, how to control their manner, how to behave themselves in public, how to pay respect to the elder, and so forth. Yeah.
At school?
Yeah, in all the public school in Vietnam. That's why. Yeah, that's why I don't know. In the Catholic school, do they teach that type of course or no? What they call moral ethics course, right?
On paper, no, but it's kind of expected to be guided in that way.
Yeah.
You know, there's ways of interacting that's positive and ways that are not. And it all has to be guiding based.
That's why.
They just,
Probably that's why many rich parents, they send them to the private school, right? Like Catholic and Christian school, right?
you know,
To
a
be
lot
happy.
of the it's not just the wealthy either, that even those they truly want. Scholarship. They mainly will send their kids there just for that, for and it's not so much of their education program, they just want that environment.
So our daughter, she's 4.5, she's going to school, and she's going to
Monterey. So they teach this type of ethnic to teaching, right? Yeah, in public school they don't provide anything like that.
It's too easy to offend somebody.
So,
So if one parent disagrees with the way you do it, then that's
yeah.
I've taught both public and private all my life. The one thing I've seen that is a lot easier is when you have a value system. And they know there's a set line you can't cross.
well, that you'll get bounced out of there. I think that, you know, I went to manual, so, you know, we didn't have the behavior problems that I think that go on in regular high schools, because you knew every time that there were 6 other kids waiting for your spot. So if your grade slip or you get in trouble too much, you're out of there, because there's a bunch of kids that really want to be where you are.
See, I taught in a small town, a long time. And it was, they wouldn't mind. So no
Yeah.
matter what you did.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting.
the parents have the influence.
When I was a small kid in elementary school, I don't know how much story I should tell. But it was a Pentecostal school. I don't know how familiar everyone is with Pentecostal, but it's a very strict kind of Christian. And so the rules were very strict, and I got kicked out.
Yay, Stan.
To be honest, I got kicked out on purpose because I hated it.
Yeah.
Did I just speak in tongues?
No, never managed that.
Yeah. So that's why some even some parents, wealthy parents, they prefer to stay in the good neighborhood, right? Just for their own children purpose, right? For their own children's sake. But most of the time, if they wealthy enough, they send them to the private school, right? They have the type of peaceful environment, this type of ethical environment than the public. Anyway, so again, it's pretty important for us to train the student, even for us to develop this stuff, developing kindness. Okay. Yes.
What was when you were saying that you had some type of classes or something for the kids? What was the age group?
Oh, we had an after-school tutoring program, Your kid might need to wait till.
They're old enough.
Yeah.
K,
K10.
Yeah.
They come here K10. You know what I mean K10? From even from kindergarten to 10th grade. Yeah,
We
we.
have a phone. She's
mm,
not in preschool.
Yeah.
So we have-
Yeah. So we open for communities to help them, and why we help them to do homework, we show them some ethical story and to help them to make some short meditation, only a few minutes, 5 minutes is the most, to train them at that young age to calm their mind. Mm. Okay, so that's all for us today. So again, this is today's message still important.